Hey guys, Raiden here with the third guide in my Fire Emblem Fates class guide series. This one has been requested the most out of all the classes so far. It's a class that uses speed and wit to outsmart his or her opponents. It's a class that focuses on crippling the enemy from a range instead of dealing damage up close. The Ninja. Now, before I get started, let me clear a few things up. First off, when I say a class belongs only to Birthright or Conquest, I'm pretending that Revelations doesn't exist. I mean, assuming that they're already in Revelations, because to my knowledge, every single class is. I would like to point out that this guide is going to be a bit more heavily opinionated than the others. But remember, that's just what it is, an opinion. You can play Fire Emblem however you want, because Fire Emblem is all about playing the game with the units you like, so don't let me stop you. So what's so great about ninjas? Well, ninjas aren't exactly an easy class to utilize to their full potential. On their upsides, they have high skill and speed, allowing them to easily double attack and dodge. On top of this, they use shurikens, which allow them to debuff their opponents, even when doing no damage. But we'll delve further into that later. Ninjas also have surprisingly high resistance, making them ideal mage killers. All of these buffs make them an ideal pair-up unit for tankier allies. If you don't already have a ninja running around debuffing people, you can pair one up with an Oni Savage or a Master of Arms. This way the tank is making up for the ninja's drawbacks and the ninja is making up for the tanks. Lastly, there's a ninja available to you in all three routes of Fire Emblem Fates. Now let's talk about some of their weaknesses that make this class just such an odd one. While they do have high speed and skill, their strength, HP, and defense are extremely low, as well as their abysmal magic and luck growths. This lack of growths outside of skill and speed causes the ninja to end up not doing a whole lot of damage compared to other classes who are built very similarly like an archer. A lot of the time ending up doing 0 damage to armored units, but at least they still debuff them even if the ninja fails to put a dent in their opponent. Next, let's talk about one of the more major points of the ninja, their arsenal. Now, ninjas can use both shurikens and daggers, but for the purpose of future videos, we will be focusing on shurikens. But to sum up the difference between shurikens and daggers, shurikens will always give the user +2 speed unless the weapon states otherwise, while daggers tend to be a bit more accurate. The Iron Shuriken shows off the shuriken's basic stats. With low overall damage but some pretty good accuracy, it decreases magic by 2 and decreases defense and resistance by 3. The Spy Shuriken is a completely ridiculous debuffing tool. While it only has a might of 1, this weapon has a range of 3 and does some insane debuffs. The Barb Shuriken is also a really great choice, having a higher damage and accuracy than the Iron Shuriken, with the only downside of -10% avoid. This weapon can be monstrous. On top of that, it brings luck, defense, and resistance down by 4, and makes it so that crits with this weapon deal 4 times damage instead of just 3. Fun fact about real shurikens. Shurikens weren't exactly meant to be these razor-sharp pinpoint accuracy throwing weapons. We always thought them out to be. In fact, earlier records of shurikens were made out of randomly sharpened small metal objects attached to each other such as nails or coins. The ninja's skills are very unique. At level 1 and above, the ninja learns a lock touch, which allows them to open any locked doors or chests without the need of a key. This is very useful, but it's not exactly anything new to the Fire Emblem series, so I don't really need to form an opinion on it. Next up, we have Poison Strike. Poison Strike triggers when the user initiates battle and drains 20% of the enemy's health after the battle is over. This skill is a fantastic addition to the ninja. Even if your ninja has attacked an enemy it couldn't possibly hurt, the enemy will still receive the debuff from the shuriken and lose 20% of their HP. And I know it's poison, so in your mind you think like, oh, this will go on for several hours because he's poisoned, and RPGs do that bullshit thing where you walk around for a while and it hurts you the more you walk around. Well, no, that's not the case this time. It works just like the description says. Now, the ninja has 2 promotions. First, let's go over the Master Ninja. The Master Ninja is, well, a ninja master, so basically a better version of the ninja in every way. Their growth rates remain largely the same, but gain an increase in resistance and gain the ability to use swords. Since they have access to swords, they are not exactly able to become a sword master equivalent when it comes down to it, but they sure as hell can deal with some pesky axe users a bit more efficiently. Aside from stat boost, the main reason to become a Master Ninja is a skill that has been around for a very long time in the Fire Emblem universe. One of the most powerful of skills in all of Fire Emblem history. Well, at least when it decides to proc. And hits. Lethality. Lethality is a skill that, across the series, would allow a unit to instantly kill another unit minus some special characters. So usually bosses and such. Fates adds one more rule onto this and states that any post-combat skills such as Savage Blow cannot proc lethality. This also goes for the ninja's skill Poison Strike. Their second skill is called Shuriken Fair, which increases damage by 5 when the unit equips a Shuriken. I don't have to tell you that this is useful because all they can equip are Shurikens and daggers. You want to use the Master Ninjas as a softening unit. You always want to use them to either debuff strong enemies or finish off low health or weaker enemies. You don't really want them to ever be the last unit you use. They're not really any sort of trump card, and if you're expecting them to take out some sort of stray berserker or great knight that you just left lying around somewhere, he probably will not. The second promotion for the ninja is probably the most odd class in all of Fates, the Mechanist. I usually would say use whatever you want in Fire Emblem, regardless of your skill. Fire Emblem isn't just about perfect min-maxing or ensuring that you have the most optimal children possible. Just the 2 games, people, remember this. Have fun with it, but Mechanists are a bit more complicated than most Fire Emblem classes. The Mechanist has lower growth rates than the Master Ninja in everything except strength and defense. Overall, they are a frail unit that has some trouble in direct conflict. So what makes this class useful? Well, first of all, the Mechanist does gain the ability to use bows alongside Shurikens, giving them a slightly more diverse arsenal and creating another anti-flyer unit. But the main draw is due to their very interesting skill sets. The first skill the Mechanist acquires is called Golem Bane. Golem Bane causes the Mechanist's attacks to be effective against other Mechanists, puppets, and golems. This skill is very situational. In both campaigns, there are probably only a few chapters I can think of that it would be extremely useful in, especially one in Conquest. But for the most part, I doubt you're going to be taking advantage of this skill. The Mechanist's second skill is what makes this class so unique, and is kind of the crux of the whole thing. It's called Replicate. Replicate allows use of the Replicate skill, which in turn makes a copy of the user appear in an adjacent space. This replica of the original shares everything that the original has. They share health bars, item uses, and healing effects. The only things that are not shared are support level bonuses and effects imposed by Azura's songs. The main use of the replica is the fact that it does not share turns, so you effectively are creating 2 different units. This skill is just as useful as you are creative. King Garon, shall we commence the assault on Hoshido's Great Wall?
Yes, soon the filthy Hoshidans will fall beneath me and I, Garon, will rule. Shit! Oh, it burnt! Oh my god!
What's wrong, father? Speak to me!
I burnt my fucking Hot Pocket again. This is the last time we buy a microwave on clearance, Sealing Dragon God. What? I don't give a damn how healthy kale is. Vegans aren't people.
What was that about? Nothing. Can we carry out our plan, Tactician Zeno? Huh? Oh, yeah, sure. I've optimized your equipment.
Sir, we've just received updates that the Mechanists have developed a new skill.
I'll keep that in mind. Now they will... What is that? What's what? Why the hell is there a flock of racist pineapples governing the wall?
Oh, look, it's the Norians. Look how douchey I'm being up on this wall. Right, other Takumis? Norian scum, after all. Norian scum.
Unexpected complications, but it looks like the Hoshidans have been teaching their new replication technique to their strongest. That explains a lot. Shouldn't be too bad, but...
Wheaties, breakfast for champions!
It's fine. Even with the 5 of them, they can't produce a single chromosome. Do not engage. I repeat, do not engage. Tactician Raiden, Raiden, where'd you go? Raiden? I, side with Hoshido. We're 20 chapters into Conquest, you can't just do that! I'm sorry, Xander, but certain circumstances have changed. Most people tend only to switch to the Mechanist just to get the Replicate skill and then reclass to something else or just go back to Ninja. If you feel you have positioning down and aren't afraid to be experimental, or you just want something different in your group, the Mechanist is perfect for you. Now, these guides once again are completely opinionative, and I have formed a very strong opinion on which promotion I prefer. If you are doing a no grind and no My Castle run of Fates, I would highly recommend promoting to the Master Ninja. Why? Well, compared to the Mechanist, the Master Ninja just has better all-around stats, and because of my playstyle, I see Replicate as a disadvantage. While a lot of players see the Mechanist as a unit that can patch up their own mistakes, when I see Replicate, the first thing that comes to my mind is the fact that I have something else taking up space on the battlefield, and I also have something else that can die on the battlefield, therefore creating more room for error, which I don't really like. So while you could use Replicate to go around the map, debuffing people and taking out flying units, the Mechanist seems to be most useful and reclassed into other things. And once again, if you're not grinding and reclassing again and again and again, it would be kind of inefficient when it comes to funds. There's a lot of other things you could spend your limited amount of money on in your conquest run rather than reclassing Kaze so he can run around healing people. Talking about which ninja to use is a quite difficult topic. They're so varied and different from ninja to ninja. The three main ninjas in Fates are Kaze, Saizo, and Cogito. Kaze is the first ninja you attain, and he is attainable in all three routes. Kaze is the most speedy ninja and is kind of a glass cannon in that aspect, while Saizo focuses on strength and defense. Saizo is also the only ninja to have a magic growth rate. All the others have 0. Lastly, we have my favorite Cogito, who is the jack of all trades. She's not quite as speedy as Kaze or quite as tanky as Saizo, but she gets the job done. In my opinion, she is the weakest out of the three, but I enjoyed her support conversations quite a bit, and I have to hand it to them. Cogito is how you properly make a sexy character, I guess I would say. Cogito and Orochi are both fantastic examples of this, while Norian butt flaps and constant breast pans are not.
I see you missed your big sister.
And that will conclude my Fire Emblem Fates Ninja Guide. I can't thank you enough for watching and all of you participating in such an awesome community. If you want to support me, hit that like button, or if you dislike the video in any way, you can hit that dislike button too. It doesn't bother me that much. Also, if you want to become one of us, hit that subscribe button, but before that, if you really want to see what my channel's about, I have a channel trailer. Just click right there to find out what's going on this channel. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Riding out.